Alright guys, we made it. Waverly Hills Sanitorium in Kentucky.
This is going to be really cool. We have an EMF detector and a voice recorder. I also have a voice recorder on my phone, so I'm going to use that too.
Yeah, we've got some few ghost hunting toys we're going to play with on the trip, and we're with 10 friends total, so we're going to take you along the way and show you what we got.
And our son is going to be very jealous. All right, we just want to preface this with, we do believe in the paranormal and all the spooky stuff and things like that. We like to go places that are haunted, and we've been to a couple different places. Now, if you don't believe, we get that. A lot of people don't believe in any paranormal, spooky-ooky stuff, you know, and that's fine. And we'll catch up with you next week. If you don't want to watch this one, we totally get it. But for us, we believe in it, and we believe what we saw with our own eyes and what we heard and what we captured.
Oh, yeah. It was quite a roller coaster of emotions and feelings and
yeah.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that,
yeah.
You know?
When we first, walked up, it is like this looming kind of massive place. Just when you walk up to it, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how large that place was, even though I've seen it on TV before and on videos online and stuff. It's huge.
Yeah, it's one of those places that you can feel the history.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that old places like that they have residual energies in them, and you can feel those residual energies.
All right, so we just took pics in front of the gargoyle. Every one of us touched that thing, so who knows what's going to happen.
The historical value of what that building was just on its own, and then all the amount of death that is associated with that.
Yeah,
it definitely lingers.
Yeah, it's different, but it was just an odd, heavy feeling at Waverly Hills. We pulled up to the gate. Yeah. They only open the gate at 8 p.m. for the people who are on the tour, and they take your names as you come through the gate to make sure you're supposed to be there. They don't want any trespassers there, and because it could be dangerous for people. So,
yeah, it was really cool to get there and see it in the daylight.
Oh yeah, and as the sun was going down just over it, we got some great pictures here, and it's a beautiful I love old buildings like that, and you can just feel the history, so that's cool.
So we did video up until the part where the tour started. Once the tour started, we were not allowed to record.
Yeah.
But they did tell us, hey, take lots of pictures, as many as you want.
And they told us to take pictures in bursts of at least 3. So if you want to take a picture of, say, a doorway, take 3 pictures in succession of that doorway. That way, if there's an anomaly caught on on one photo, you can look at the others and see if it's still there. I mean, if it's there through all the photos, then that means there was something there anyway, an actual tangible object. So yeah, I will go into that a little bit more, but those bursts of 3 definitely paid off for us.
So we armed ourselves, obviously, with our cameras.
Yeah, we had our cameras, we had our phones, so we could take tons of pictures.
We had a digital recorder so that we could record anything that might have happened while we were there. We even stopped in a room and did a recording. Yeah. And the electromagnetic.
Yeah, we have an EMF detector, which I've always wanted one of those. We bought one, and it worked really well. First thing, before we even set off on the tour, I turned it on. We're walking around in kind of like a lobby area that they have, set up where their desk is to sign the waivers. And I'm just walking across the room, and it starts going off. And I stopped, and it stopped. I turned around and went back to the place, that spot on the floor where I was walking across, and it didn't do it again. So there was some sort of transient energies, electromagnetic something or other moving about. And then they had some display cases there that had, one of the cases was just basically found objects from the sanatorium, old like little vials, bottles, utensils, syringes, things like that they had back in the day, and they had it all on display. And they had another case that had objects that the residents from the sanatorium had actually made themselves, which was really cool to see. And I was next to one of the cases and the EMF detector started going off.
All right, so we signed in for the tour, and more than likely we're not going to be able to video.
Yeah.
So-
So we'll take lots of pictures and show you. Already got a little spike on my EMF, so who knows what that was, but it was in one spot and I can't replicate it. So
It's exciting.
I don't
We're
know.
going to see what happens.
So there was obviously, for me, I think there was something moving around, whether it was residual energies or residual something or other setting that off, or,
Well,
you know.
and Dustin, you know, his watch.
Yes.
So there's a
In the way
background.
of
There's
the
a background
words.
image behind these.
You can't tell what it
Icons.
is.
I found that out one of many.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I can see an outline of something.
So you can see, go to the Spotify app.
Yeah,
There's
it's
there's an
green.
image behind there. I don't know what it is. I've never seen that before.
So once we started the tour, you know, they take you down this long, dark hallway, and that is the body chute.
Yeah, it's not dark at first because there are windows, and you get to this door, and she opened this great big door, and that was the body chute. That is where they would transport people that had passed out down this body chute, and it would pop up away from the sanatorium so that people who were at the sanatorium wouldn't see bodies being removed. That place was different.
Yep.
We got in there, and it had a weird feel to it, but nothing scary. And I've felt scary things before. There was nothing scary about it, but there was something. And my EMF detector went off a lot in there.
It was eerie, you know, because
Yeah.
once you get up to the point,
There's like a little gate kind of thing there, or a little railing. At that point, we had gotten down. She said at that point we were actually 6 feet underground. Creepy. But that's as far as we could go because it still goes down
now,
another 400 feet.
all right. So another thing too is we didn't have access to walk the full body chute,
No.
but if you do the overnight stay,
Mhm.
you have complete access to the sanitarium.
Yeah, and she even said that she's had people on the tour volunteer to go down because what she did, she threw a ball down. She goes, I want you to hear how long this ball bounces, and you'll hear it even though it's 450 feet or whatever it was down. You will hear it when it hits the metal door that seals it off down there. And by God, you do. It's loud. And she's had people volunteer to go all the way down there to pick up all the balls that they've thrown down, these bouncy balls.
Wow. That's why we don't walk terror groups down there. It takes too long to get everybody back.
And that is where we had our first visual experience.
Yes. She said that there were always orbs down in there, and, you know, it's a body chute. It's where deceased people were taken. So, yeah, I would think it would be kind of haunted down in there, and there were orbs. There were lots
Yeah,
of
our guide
movement.
called out to them.
Before she ever turned out the lights so we could see it clearly, I could see something down there, and I actually got a picture. And she said we would definitely see something. There's always orbs around in there. And when she did turn off those lights, it's hard to believe, but there were orbs and they were moving and they were coming toward us.
I didn't feel scared. You know,
No,
one thing,
not
we
at
were
all.
surrounded by our friends.
Yes.
But, you know, it didn't give a threatening feeling.
No, and if I had felt like that, I'd be like, nope, I'm out.
So after the shoot,
Mm-hmm.
then we started going up the stairs.
We
and
went
checking
all the
out.
way to the top of the sanatorium. We walked every single floor, which was really awesome to be able to see that and to have that privilege of seeing it for ourselves. And the
Now,
rest of it,
There's no air conditioning. And
No,
we,
it
we,
gets-
we were in the dead of summertime.
yeah,
so.
it gets really warm in there. Now, when you're near the areas where the windows are supposed to be, it is a little cooler there. You know, there's circulation, but yeah, when you get down into it in the stairwells and stuff, it was very hot.
And along the way, our tour guide would tell us about different interactions that she's had or the staff has had there.
Yeah. Yeah, there and lots of ghostly figures and things like that have been seen in the past. So I was hoping we would catch something like that. Nothing, no full body apparitions or anything like that on our photos, unfortunately. But on I believe it was the 3rd floor, he asked, "You want to go in here and do a quick EVP session?" Basically, a voice recorder to see if we can get anything on the recorder. And I was already feeling like that floor was full of complete sadness. I walk into this room and I start crying. It makes me emotional thinking about it. Oh my God.
Yeah, we were in the room to record, and she just
full tears.
broke
I wasn't
down.
upset myself. I felt the sadness of something there. It still makes me so sad. I walk in the hall and then nothing. I could still feel that there was like this oppressive kind of sadness around, but nothing like that in the room. And I have never felt like that before in my life. I was just like, okay, that's something. So
yeah, and as we're walking around, the tour guide's telling us the history of specific rooms and different things, and a lot of stuff happened at that place.
It was not only a sanatorium, it was a nursing home. At one point, there was a lot of death, a lot of, just bad things that happened, a lot of neglect, a lot of loneliness, which explains, the way I was feeling, because people that went there originally
For TB.
they had tuberculosis. And what kind of life is that? Some people got better, most people did not.
Yeah, and they did experimental surgeries and procedures. And some of those were pretty intense.
Some of those were downright
medieval.
That horrible sounding. Really, I don't want to go into that because oh my gosh, the things that we were told about, and some of them, even though it looked like somebody was completely butchered, they actually survived. But a lot of death, a lot of just mistreatment, and a lot of loneliness in that place.
It was really interesting getting to explore each floor, and then when we got up to the top, being able to walk out there.
Yeah, we were able to walk outside on the top and look around, and all around the top there's gargoyles, which I love gargoyles. I think they're so cool. There's and then there's one gargoyle on the ground out front where we came in, and we got a picture of that too. In fact, I think some people were kissing it and hugging on it and things like that. But when we were on the 5th floor and we were outside, you could see down to another part of the place. There were 2 tour groups that day, ours and another one. And that other tour group was going down as we were going up. So by the time we got to the top floor, they were at the bottom. And so there was nobody on what I think was either the 3rd or 4th floor. There was nobody down there. And I could see these windows, and I'm like, okay, I just want to take some pictures and see if I capture anything. And I did. And I can't explain it. Each picture, there was something in it that was in a different spot. I don't know what it is. It wasn't a glare. The sun was down at this point, beyond even the tree line and everything. So it was still a little bit light outside, but there was no sun shining on it, and there wasn't anybody in there, so I can't really explain it. And the image itself just looks odd. There was something otherworldly, let's put it that way, in those photos, I think. Oh, and your photo from your phone, which I'll show here. I don't know. It's a face, and I'll put up the original. And then I will put up the kind of an enhanced one to where you can see it, because it was kind of dark in there.
Yeah, and I was lollygagging, so I was at the end of the tour group. I was taking photos behind us.
Yeah.
And everybody was pretty much in front of us.
Okay.
So, it's the stuff. Most of the stuff that I took, there was nobody else around.
Yeah, I know there wasn't anybody else around here, because in other photos I could see where people were at the time, and I've debunked some things that I thought were something, and it turns out somebody was walking by with their phone and it looked like an orb, but I'm like, no, that's so-and-so's hand. They got their phone in their hand, things like that. This I cannot explain. It's not a person. It's not a blur of somebody walking by the camera. It's a face, and
it's something we can't understand, and
yeah,
but we have documentation on it.
Yeah,
So.
it's a partial body apparition, I guess you could call it.
And we aren't by no means paranormal experts.
No,
We're
I'm
novice.
I'm a paranormal enthusiast.
A hobbyist.
A hobbyist. Yeah, that's about the extent of it. I mean, we've been, like I said, several places that are haunted and whatnot, and caught different things or felt different things, and this was no different. We definitely caught some things here, which was really amazing, I think. And I would go back in a heartbeat. I would do an overnight there, just like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that's maybe in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
It was a great tour.
Yeah, I think
It was a little bit hot.
I think it was totally worth it to take that tour because it was very informative and it was fun, and we saw stuff that we
Can't explain.
can't explain at all. I know what I believe it is, but
So tell us, are you a believer? Have you had any experiences that you'd like to share? Let us know.
What experiences have you had?
Do you think we're just crazy kooks? That's okay too.
That's okay too.
You believe
I know what
you
I
wanna
believe, and you believe what you believe.
So yeah, you tell us, what experiences have you had? What kind of tours have you gone on that maybe we need to know about?
Yeah, let us know if you've ever been on a specific tour, or if you've just stayed like in a really good hotel that's really haunted. I like things like that. I want to know about those.
Well, I think that's all for it.
Yeah, that's all we got for you today. We hope you enjoyed this video, and
We will see you out there.